Welcome back, folks, to World of Warships Legends. I'm Soopa-Dave, and today we continue our build and play guides for the Japanese heavy cruisers. Now, Tier 3, where they start at Kumo, it's actually a light cruiser. This is our first heavy cruiser. And that being said, being it's a heavy cruiser, there's not many heavy cruisers at Tier 4. Meaning you have a distinct advantage with your gun caliber size, or gun size. So this is going to be your 8-inch guns on this, and I actually, because of that, recommend building Yamamoto. You could 100% use Hagero Otago, and like I said, if you want commander options, go to the tier 3 of the starter one in this playlist. The playlist is in the description, so you can go back and look at your options. I don't want to do it through every video. That being said, like I said, Furutaka and Ioba I build into a balance. Obviously, HE are really good on these things, but the AP is super underrated, and I don't see enough Japanese cruisers, especially heavy cruisers, using their AP. And so we're using Kuzanov for inspirations and Membeli beyond range, igniter, punch through, fixated, and refill station because your consumables on this line aren't super amazing. As we go ahead and check them out, you get 2 sonars, 3 catapult fighters. So there's no reason to have 3 and 4. I wouldn't recommend fully packed, especially at tier 4. And for your modifications, aiming systems mod 1, then you have the upgrades, and I actually recommend doing them in this order if you want to see them. There's a lot of reason for that on this ship, but we'll get into them here. Normally I actually take range and reload first, but being that it's significantly better than the tier 3, it's not something you normally have to worry about here. So survivability, 30,000 hit points. This is actually pretty solid at the tier. Okay, for I believe there's only 1 or 2 cruisers at tier 4 for tech trees that are higher than it. Now it is a heavy cruiser, so keep that in mind. It is a little bit more armored than some of the other ones, but not much. There's an asterisk because it's a Japanese cruiser and has a giant citadel. As you can see, we have 6 8-inch guns. They reload every 12 seconds, and the turret traverse is not great in it, 36 seconds. That being said, I play destroyers, cruisers, and battleships, so I play everything. And 180 turn time, I'm not a person that normally cares too much about it. I care on destroyers, not so much on cruisers and battleships, because I kind of know what I'm targeting, and it's not normally an issue for me. Now, you can see again, HE shell damage and fire chance pretty solid on this ship. But because you have 8-inch guns and not a lot at the tier for cruisers have that, obviously. These are the biggest guns actually at the tier. Because I think Hawkins are 190s. Let's take a look here. Yeah, they're 190. So you do have the biggest guns at the tier for cruisers. And because you have that, you can really catch other cruisers off guard and citadel them, and occasionally, once in a great while, even a battleship. I wouldn't recommend that so much, but again, you get a broadside, take the AP. I cannot strongly recommend. I cannot stress how using AP in these ships can benefit you if you are paying attention. Torpedoes, these things are absolute beasts. Now, I'm not saying rush in to get them off. Don't do that. But if you need these things, and you could throw them out there every once in a while and catch something off guard or get somebody coming around the corner, if you hit something with it, it will wreck them. These are really good torpedoes at the tier. AA defense, not good. Again, like Kumo and the rest of this line, not the best AA. You're going to see in our match we had a carrier, and again, we didn't do much about it. There's not much we can do about it. Maneuverability. This is actually interesting, and I don't think I hear much people talk about this. The speed is pretty decent. The turning circle is really bad. Why is it really bad? It's a very narrow ship. It's a long ship. So the rudder is good, like it's shifty, but making big turning circles in this thing, not a great idea, and I wouldn't recommend it. Concealment is 10-3, obviously pretty solid. Stats in this thing, uh, pretty. My damage numbers are low, but my win rate is high because I focus. As you see in a lot of my matches, I'm not a damage guy. I'm a guy that gets rid of destroyers and cares about getting caps and like not my damage. I care about helping my team more than winning, right? So, and this ship is pretty good about it, and you can see it's a pretty accurate ship. At tier 4 to have 41% accuracy is pretty darn good, I would say. Um, and you can see the armor here. So, a few things about this armor. It's a little unique in a few ways, right? So, you have 13-inch bow and stern. So, meaning everything that's going to shoot AP at you is going to hurt you. You could bounce light cruiser shells with it. You could bow tank like cruisers, right? And destroyers if they're shooting AP, but they're probably not going to be shooting AP. 8-inch guns are going to overmatch us. Every heavy cruiser in the game, or better, including battleships, is just going to go straight through that. We'll show that why that's a problem in a second. But you do, interestingly enough, have this 25 millimeter plate on the side. And why is that kind of interesting? Well, you need bigger than the 14-inch guns to actually overmatch that. So you can bounce some battleship shells off the side of this thing, but be careful because this little particular piece of armor, again, that's your citadel. Okay, so you can bounce shells off of it, but you don't want to if you don't need to, right? So be very careful. It's a pretty big citadel. It's pretty raised out of the water. If you are not paying attention and you get caught, you will turn into a submarine very quickly with this thing. As we start the match, it's disclaimer time. This is a beginner's video meant to help people new to the ship or new to the game. This is not meant for professional gamers that know everything there is to know about everything in the universe. There are multiple ways to play and build this ship. And I am an above average player, not the world's best. I make mistakes. You may see one in this match. You didn't come here for pronunciations. I'm as good as anybody at slaughtering beautiful languages all the time. With that out of the way, you can see we are bottom tier, and actually we have a carrier in the match, and we're on the side with 2 cruisers. Meaning we may not get our own spotting, so I'm going to use a detection. Detection's not too bad in this thing, and you're going to see I'm actually going to push up and try to get myself into a pretty good spot. Now, you'll notice that this is actually a very narrow ship. Why is that important? Well, actually, if you get... I don't like mentioning this, but if you find yourself broadside to a battleship, right? And you're very close to it, you're almost better off to be broadside than trying to angle to a battleship, because a lot of times they will overpin the ship because it is thin. Now, I would not put myself in that position, but that's something for you to know. Also, because it's so thin, when you're kiting away, this can be a fun ship to kite away. As you can see, we have AP loaded. Omaha is, somewhat angled towards us, right? But you're going to see here, we still get a good salvo off and 10,000 with a Citadel. So you can see what I mean. Now we take a shot and then switch over to HE because we do rather shoot HE at the Mackinson. And you can see here we don't get any shells to hit because he turned in. And then we're going to start working on burning him down. In the meantime, you can see I am completely focusing on Omaha, waiting for him to push up and get caught. As you can see here, the carrier, I didn't expect this, but the carrier is starting to focus on me right away. And he's going to get a real good torp drop off. And you're going to see how much damage he does. He takes almost half my damage with that torp drop. So you got to be careful in this ship. Even though it does have decent health for a cruiser, it's a little bit squishy. So the last thing I want to be doing is sitting there like a bozo. So you're going to see me start to move a little bit more. And you can see there is a P loaded for Omaha. And you can see we're trying to get shots on them. We're getting unlucky there. And we're going to drop these torpedoes out just in case we need to. We lose our destroyer right away. And as you can see, we're going to start shooting AP off here. Now, a lot of times, you're going to have a lot better salvos than this, what I got out of it. Okay, he does bounce a couple shells, but I'm not getting very lucky here. And then you're going to see here, we're going to go ahead and switch AP because he definitely over-angled. We get a couple citadels, take all his health away. And once he got a little bit more broadside to us, you can see it was over. Again, you know, we got to be careful here, though. We've taken some pretty significant damage. And so you see me kind of use island cover and sneak up. But obviously the destroyer is not right here in front of us. He's off to our left, so there's no reason to be overly aggressive, especially when these guys are kiting. Are chasing us. So we're going to kite away now, and you're going to see he actually has a difficult time hitting this ship. You can see even compared to the cruiser next to me, I am much narrower for the most part. So he's going to really struggle, and I can be very shifty. Even though I only have a little bit of health left, you can see the carrier's back again. And we haven't shot down, we've shot down one of his planes. So if you get focused by a carrier because this ship doesn't turn the best, it's shifty, but it doesn't make complete turns to get out of way of stuff very good. You got to be a little bit careful of carriers in this thing. Again, here we go. We're going to try to light up McKenzie right before he goes behind the island to try to get a fire. And we do get one, but to be fair here, I think he damage cons it right away. Yeah, he does. Because he's behind the island, he doesn't really have to worry about us. It's not a bad play. I just wish I could shoot him again really quick. And Agano is deciding to go broadside, so you're going to see I switch to AP. And actually, he's going to do a good job dodging, so if you guys don't know, Agano is a relatively new line, so it's not just low levels playing them. And you're going to see the difference here because for a while this guy's going to dodge my shells until I figure out what he's doing. Obviously, I can't see him the best because we are having to use auto aim for over the island. We can't see him, but he's going to dodge a lot of our shells. As you can see now, somebody else got Mackinson on fire, and he is now gone. So we don't have to worry about that. So you can see kiting away, we're pretty successful at that. One thing too I want to apologize with is this California in this match is obnoxious with the in-game commands. And there's not much I can do about it. Sometimes it happens. Now you're going to see here we're not, IL was not ready to shoot us, so we're going to take a shot at him. We go undetected here. And you're going to see me do something interesting. Because I'm up against the wall. I don't like ever being up against the barrier. So you're going to see me make the turnout. I'm not going to shoot my guns. Why is that? I'm broadside. That would hurt. That's an Ioba. That's a better version of what we're in. So I know that if that guy switches AP, he could citadel the absolutely living crap out of me. So we wait till we're got our turn well enough. And we're going to go ahead and now focus on Ioba here, and you'll see the California tells us to get back. I don't know if you can get farther back than the wall, than the barrier. Okay, and then this guy, yeah, I gotta apologize for this guy because he's gonna say really crazy stuff like "get back" and then "I need your help," and I don't know if he was being obnoxious because maybe he recognized me. I doubt it, but you never know. But anyway, just honestly, Warships players can do that. Now, you're going to see me here switch to AP. Why am I switching to AP? I have got enough of an angle on him to actually go ahead and sit it on, but you can see somebody else hit him and had the same idea I did. And we do get the kill off of one shell and a fire, obviously, as he dies. But now we're going to push up, and we're being really careful of our health. We haven't put ourselves in bad situations yet. And we're going to go ahead and try to get rid of the, push ourselves up. We know there's a destroyer somewhere, but he's been spotted in the B cap last. So at this point, I'm not super worried, but I do want to get myself closer. And you're going to see here, Agano here, I realize he's dodging shells. So we're going to be a little bit careful. I'm checking out what we're doing. And we're going to go, he eats some torpedoes, and we're going to go ahead and try to throw some shells out here now to finally finish him off. He did a pretty good job of dodging shells. I spent a little bit of time on him that I probably didn't need to, but even there at 14 kilometers, we Citadel light cruiser. So right away, we have what, 3 Citadels on 3 different, or 4 Citadels on 3 different ships, I believe. So don't hesitate to use it. And you can see we've done our job. We've stayed alive, and you can see now, even though that this is close, you know, even though we got the ship advantage, they do have the cap, so it's not really over yet until the Omaha does us the Ranger gets rid of our Omaha. You can see this match is not over by any means, so I'm being real careful. And then you can see the kamikaze spotted. My amazingly delayed reaction because I was trying to figure out where the carrier would be because I wanted revenge for him hitting us. Yeah, pretty good. And you're going to see our destroyer puts down a smoke. And honestly, I wouldn't normally recommend that in his position. He could just go kill the kamikaze. But this is going to help me out, so I can continue to shoot our guns here because we're behind smoke. And we're going to go ahead and do that to our best of ability. You can see he's angled at me, so I'm going to switch to HE here. And honestly, I was expecting the destroyer to get spotted right away, but our destroyer had no will to go spot that destroyer. If you're in a destroyer and you have a cruiser right behind you, if you get the opportunity and you've seen him kill a couple people, like I've killed 3 people already in this match, probably want to be spotting that other destroyer, as our California does completely get rid of that Genova. And we're going to go ahead and push up. Now at this point in the match, we got the other cap, and we got the, you know, we got the ship lead. It's pretty hard to lose now, right? But again, this is one of my favorite ships in the entire line. I like this line completely. The whole flamethrower line, I really love this line. It is a fun line to play in general. I think it gets a bad rap because it can be a little bit squishy, but man, I'm not saying it's got DPM prowess, but this line itself, I mean, if you play it right, you can majorly affect games, especially if you have spotting. You know, sometimes, like for me, I don't play in divisions, so sometimes not getting spotting it can be a little bit rough. We're going to take a shot at the kamikaze, not expecting much. But now, I want my revenge on the carrier. So I'm heading towards the carrier and the destroyer. Like, I'm trying to get myself in a good position where I'm not going to get torped by the kamikaze, but I'm close enough, as you can see, if I need to shoot him. And our California is actually just charging in. Surprised he hasn't died to torpedoes yet. But you can see the carrier spotted, and I missed a couple rounds on kamikaze here, right? So we're going to put some shells off. We switch to AP. Obviously, because I'm going to get my revenge on this stinking carrier that took half my health off with the 2 torpedoes. Right? So we're going to go ahead. He's just, you know, driving against the back. And we are going to take a nice little salvo at him with AP. This is another example here, guys. The AP does work pretty good. Now, we don't get too, you know, we don't get the most accurate shots there. And we're getting a little bit away from it, so doesn't have as much angle to us now as we're getting closer, and you can absolutely see the difference there. Do not, I repeat, do not hesitate to switch AP into this ship. It is wonderful. Now, we get our revenge on the carrier, and I'm super pumped about it. Now it's time to hunt down the destroyer. We're going to go ahead and go to the you know, we're going to head to where he's last spotted, basically. And we're going to try to live. Make sure we don't get murked by this carrier, because he's definitely not like me in this match. And he's probably not real thrilled with me anymore that I took all of his health away. But you can see we're back into EG. and we're going to be going after our that destroyer. Obviously, the match now is pretty much over, but like I said, you can see we got 9 citadels in the ship. So, and that they were against what 4 different ships. So, use your AP sparing or wisely. Don't just spam HE out of it. You can, and it can be very effective. But you given the opportunity, the AP in this thing can be very good. Now we're spotted, so we know the distance between me and the destroyer is pretty good. So he's close to the destroyer. He gets spotted. We take the shot. Didn't even realize it, but we get a Kraken. Getting 5 kills. Obviously helping our team win. Not a massive amount of damage by any means, but respectable. And we really helped our team win, which is really the more important thing. Anyway, you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time, folks. Have a good one.